Welcome to Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner. Before we dive deep into this scandal wey go shake Nollywood, abeg hit that subscription button so you no go miss any of the juicy stories wey dey drop back to back. Maurice Sam, one of Nollywood's most talked about actors, has always had a reputation for being charming, handsome, and extremely talented. His movies often showcased his romantic prowess, and the chemistry he shared with female co-stars made fans speculate about real-life romances. For years, he maintained a relatively clean public image, but whispers of off-screen flirtations always followed him. Fans often teased him online, saying that his on-screen romances must be real because he could sell love so convincingly. For Maurice, however, it had never crossed into real scandal until that fateful night that would change everything. The story began on a seemingly ordinary day at a movie set in Lagos. Maurice was filming a romantic drama with a very popular actress who, while anonymous for now, is one of the most recognized faces in Nollywood. She had been acting alongside him for several months, and their chemistry on screen had sparked a lot of conversations. Both of them were professionals on set, and their interaction had always been deemed part of their acting skill. However, behind the scenes, the lines between professional and personal had started to blur, though nobody outside their immediate circle suspected anything concrete. She was known for her striking beauty, tall and slim figure, long flowing hair, and the kind of smile that could captivate an entire room. Her roles often mirrored romantic, emotionally complex characters, and her popularity had been steadily rising over the years. Maurice and she had developed a closeness that was visible to anyone who observed carefully, though it was often dismissed as nothing more than friendship or professional camaraderie. That particular day, she had seemed distracted on set, quieter than usual. Production staff noticed her demeanor but assumed she was tired or perhaps overwhelmed by her increasing fame. She quietly requested permission from the director to leave early, citing a need to cool off her mind after a long shooting schedule. Maurice, ever the gentleman, offered to escort her, saying he understood the pressures actors faced and that sometimes a private place to unwind could help clear the mind. What seemed innocent to outsiders was, in reality, the beginning of a situation that would escalate into one of Nollywood's hottest scandals. There was no hint from Maurice at the time that this would turn into a night that would dominate headlines and social media chatter for weeks. Around 8 p.m., she arrived at a luxurious hotel in Lekki, a place known for hosting high-profile guests and celebrities who wanted privacy. She was discreetly dressed, wearing a hoodie and long gown, her face partially covered, the kind of attire that suggested she wanted to go unnoticed. Only a few staff members noticed her arrival, and even they assumed it was a private stay for personal reasons. Minutes later, Maurice arrived, similarly discreet, in dark attire and sunglasses. His entrance, though casual, carried the air of someone accustomed to attention yet needing to remain unseen. Both of them entered the hotel separately but took the same elevator, heading to the same floor. Maurice was calm, collected, but there was a certain tension in his demeanor, the kind that hinted at the complexity of the evening that lay ahead. They entered Suite 406, one of the most exclusive rooms in the hotel, known for its privacy and luxury. The suite was spacious, soundproof, and equipped to ensure that its occupants could enjoy complete seclusion. Once inside, the room was locked from within. For the next 4 hours, nothing emerged from that suite. Hotel staff, while professional, were aware of the guest's presence and kept their distance, observing from afar. It was in these hours that speculation, later amplified by witnesses and insiders, would begin to circulate. Sounds that resembled bed movements were reportedly heard by one hotel worker, though no one could confirm exactly what happened inside. Some assumed they were reviewing scripts or rehearsing scenes for emotional authenticity. Others, with a keener ear, suspected more intimate activity, given the noises and the length of time the room was occupied. If you never subscribe yet, abeg hit that button now because the next part of this story go shock your brain. Around 11:47 p.m., a dark black jeep arrived at the hotel, carrying someone described as very close to the actress, possibly a partner or someone with a vested interest in her well-being. This person entered the hotel, demanding to know the room number of the actress and insisting on immediate access. Hotel staff, aware of the potential conflict, attempted to de-escalate the situation, but the individual's anger and determination were apparent. When the door to Suite 406 was forced open, the scenario inside became a confrontation that would later be the centerpiece of countless social media posts and blog articles. The actress was reportedly seated on the bed, visibly distressed, her makeup smudged and hair disheveled from hours of emotional strain. Maurice stood near her, appearing equally stressed and unsure how to navigate the confrontation without making matters worse. The exchange that followed was tense and filled with accusations, denials, and frantic attempts to control the narrative. The acquaintance demanded an explanation for why the actress was in the room with Maurice. Maurice attempted to clarify that he was merely helping her manage stress, but the situation, compounded by the hours spent alone in the room, made explanation difficult. The intensity of the moment, the physical closeness of the two actors, and the perception of bystanders all contributed to a scene that would later be described as scandalous. In the heat of the confrontation, the actress was escorted from the room by her acquaintance, leaving Maurice standing in the corridor, bewildered and embarrassed by the sudden turn of events. The incident did not end there. Video footage and photographs captured by bystanders began circulating online, leading to widespread speculation, debates, and viral discussions on social media platforms. The following morning, news outlets and bloggers published headlines describing Maurice as being caught cooling off with a popular actress in a hotel, igniting widespread public reaction. Fans and commentators debated the nature of the relationship, whether there had been an intimate encounter, and the ethics of Maurice's involvement with the actress under the circumstances. The actress, meanwhile, chose to maintain a low profile, locking her social media account and avoiding public statements, while Maurice's management released a formal statement claiming that there was no inappropriate activity and that Maurice had been providing emotional support to a colleague in distress. Despite the official statement, skepticism persisted. The narrative had already taken hold in the public imagination, fueled by the descriptions of the actress's recognizable features, her closeness to Maurice on screen, and the timing of the hotel visit. In the days that followed, more details emerged from unnamed sources, adding layers to the story. Rumors suggested that the actress's personal relationships had been affected by the incident, and that Maurice's professional reputation had come under scrutiny, with producers reportedly expressing concern about potential backlash. The combination of fame, perceived intimacy, and secrecy had created a perfect storm for a scandal. Analysts and fans dissected every photograph, every social media post, and every offhand comment to try to determine the truth. The story became more than just a private incident. It became a cultural moment, a conversation about privacy, celebrity conduct, and the boundaries between professional and personal relationships in the entertainment industry. The scandal also highlighted the pressures faced by actors in Nollywood. The need for privacy, the expectations of fans, and the constant scrutiny of the media created an environment where even innocent interactions could be misconstrued. Maurice, despite his experience and careful public image, found himself at the center of a controversy that challenged his judgment and reputation. The actress, equally popular and ambitious, faced questions about her decisions and how they might affect her career trajectory. Friends, colleagues, and insiders all had their own interpretations, contributing to a swirl of information, some factual, some speculative, and all emotionally charged. If you dey follow this gist seriously, abeg subscribe now so you no go miss the next inside update. Over time, the incident became a case study in celebrity dynamics, trust, and perception. Discussions about the ethics of private encounters, the responsibilities of public figures, and the consequences of actions taken in private spaces dominated forums and social media threads. Fans debated whether Maurice had acted inappropriately or whether he was genuinely providing support to a colleague. Others speculated on the actress's intentions and the role of her personal relationships in escalating the confrontation. The hotel staff, unwitting witnesses to the unfolding drama, became minor celebrities in their own right, recounting details that added both intrigue and complexity to the narrative. Despite the controversy, Maurice continued his work, taking care to manage his image while navigating the fallout. Interviews, appearances, and future projects were all approached with a heightened awareness of public perception. The actress similarly adjusted her public interactions, balancing her rising stardom with the need to protect her reputation. Both parties learned firsthand how quickly situations could escalate and how important discretion, communication, and personal boundaries were in an industry where attention was constant and judgment immediate. The night at Suite 406, and the events leading up to it, would remain a reference point in Nollywood gossip for years to come. It served as both a cautionary tale and a reminder of the pressures of celebrity life, the consequences of private actions becoming public, and the relentless scrutiny of fans, media, and industry insiders. Maurice's history, up to that point, had been defined by talent, charm, and professionalism, but that night added a new chapter, one filled with speculation, controversy, and lessons about fame, trust, and the fragility of reputation in the modern entertainment landscape.